Welcome to Beyond the Battlefield, Stories of Mountain and Air, the podcast that delves into the diverse and compelling careers of the Vermont National Guard and its members. I'm your host, Sergeant Dennis Nunez, Public Affairs Specialist for the Vermont National Guard Joint Force Headquarters. Each episode features a candid conversation with current military personnel in order to shine a light on their personal experiences in and out of uniform. Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind these soldiers and airmen and explore the motivations that drive individuals to pursue a career in the armed forces. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Army Mountain Warfare School is a United States Army school located at the Ethan Allen Firing Range in Jericho, Vermont, to train soldiers in mountain warfare, the specialized skills required for operating in mountainous terrain. It is also home to the 86th Infantry Brigade Combat Team and the Vermont National Guard. Our guest today is not only an amazing soldier, a teacher, and a mentor, but the man, the myth, the legend himself, the First Sergeant of the United States Army Mountain Warfare School, First Sergeant Max Rooney. First Sergeant, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity to be here and share our story.
Now, I want to start by asking you a bit about your background and what led you to the Army Mountain Warfare School.
First and foremost, it was a very gifted career path. I was in the right place at the right time. I joined the Vermont National Guard after 9/11. I was 27, had 2 children, one on the way that we didn't know about quite yet. But I didn't want my generation to be the generation not to step up and volunteer. So it started there, and then I was a cavalry scout. And remember, it was a tank state years ago, and I was in a detachment of scouts, mortars, and medics. Deployed with Task Force Sabre, 2005, 2006. Came back, and I had enough time on my enlistment where I wanted to go to Afghanistan as well. And in the interim, I started working on just orders at the Mountain Warfare School, doing basically supply tasks and anything that needed to be done. And one of the instructors had elected to go on the deployment with a brigade, and that created an opening for an instructor in a right place at the right time. And I was selected, and I instructed there until 2019, and then I was selected as a first sergeant. And so very, very fortunate to be where I was. It's just a gifted career for me, for sure.
That's amazing. Shifting to the mountain school itself, can you tell me a bit more about the objectives of the school, what type of courses you offer?
We do. We offer 6 courses in what we'll call the Program of Instruction, or POI. Years ago, we just offered the basic military mountaineering course, and then in advanced. And so to get your echo identifier, your Ramset device, meaning that the Army has recognized that you have a skill identifier, you used to have to go through summer phase and winter in the basic course. In 2009, that changed to 1 2-week course. You could get your echo identifier. We still have 2 phases for the advanced course. You need to complete a summer phase and then a winter phase, because a lot of the tasks are very unique to that environment or that time of year. And around 2009, working with an organization that used to embed with units deployed to identify capability gaps. Maybe this is, do you need technology? Do you need is there an equipment gap? Is there a training gap or a capability gap? And those individuals reached out to us and identified 3 capability gaps in the mountains of Afghanistan. So we did pilot courses on a mountain planners course. Essentially, that's leaders that may not know the capabilities of the echo-identified soldiers in their unit. So how do you work with them? It's almost like a sniper employment course. And that is an 8-day course, and that runs twice a year, the same times that the rough terrain evac course. We really try to cater to that to medics. If, God forbid, someone is injured due to environmental or combat-related, how do we extend that golden hour and safely package individuals? Because in Afghanistan, they were finding a lot of patients that didn't have life-threatening injuries would be hypothermic due to poor packaging, or an aircraft medevac to a level 1 trauma center. So we really catered how do we get folks through arduous terrain, God forbid if they get hurt for any reason. And then the third course is the Mountain Rifleman's course. So we want Army-trained snipers, and when we work with them on how to get to that position of advantage through either fixed rope systems, and then also what are the effects the environment is putting on the impact of a round. So those 3 courses were an addition that we piloted around 2009. So we own and maintain 6 programs of instruction to offer to everyone: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Our goal is to make critical thinkers that can actually, as a member of a team, get troops and equipment through, austere terrain. Is our real main goal.
Yeah, it sounds like a really comprehensive program that you guys run up there. And I think that one thing some people might not realize is that you are the Army Mountain Warfare School, but you're not just teaching Army soldiers, which is, I think, pretty neat. Now, when it comes to the types of skills and techniques that you teach, what can someone who goes through your schools kind of expect to walk away with after completing a course?
So, again, our basic and advanced courses are only 2 weeks. So essentially, if you go to the basic course and then both phases of the advanced course, you have 6 weeks of training in mountaineering. And we work with other nations as well. And, some of their programs may be 3 months or 6 months or 8 weeks. So our goal and what they should expect from the basic course is, again, can you as an individual, as a part of a small team, move yourself, troops, and equipment through, whether it's fixed ropes and rappelling. These are not individuals that we are endorsing that they go back to their unit and they run or plan high-risk training. And when we say high-risk training, we mean anything in the vertical world. The level 2s, when you're a graduate of the advanced course, these are individuals that should be underwritten where a commander can work with these individuals and say, I want to do rappel training or climbing training, because they've got a lot more emphasis on not just more advanced systems, but we work with them on training site maintenance or training site selection, because it's you don't just need a cliff. You need to understand, like, what do you have for anchors and how do we safely transition people from the bottom to the top and then from the top down to the bottom. So we work with these individuals a lot more, and just how to conduct the training, not just more advanced systems. So that's what we're looking for, and I think units are looking for our graduates' capabilities when they return back to their unit.
Wow. Now, as cadre teaching the course, and you have students taking these courses, preparation for any military school is vital, and I think a lot of people know that. How do you and your team, your cadre, prepare for an incoming class? And conversely, what advice would you give to an incoming cohort of students coming into one of your programs?
That's a great question. I'll touch on what do we do as an organization to prepare. It's an ever-changing. If we never interact in the operational environment, we would still be teaching techniques that were taught back in the 80s. So we reach out to maneuver elements, just saying, this is our program of instruction. Are we missing anything? Are we sending individuals back to your unit without capabilities that you would like them to have? And every 3 years, we rewrite their program of instruction to add things or remove things so we can stay more current in the operating environment. And then usually the week leading up, so we run these courses 10 times a year, and it's 2 weeks. So in between those, we'll do training site maintenance if we identify that the land navigation course doesn't have some of the punches, or there's trees down on some of the walking paths. So we do a lot of physical work preparing for the course, making sure linens, and we inspect all of the equipment that the students are going to be using to make sure that the harnesses and the ropes that they're using and the cordages are all good for use. And administratively, our operations section makes sure that the incoming soldiers have the packing list, that they understand where they're coming, what is expected of them. And we have a pretty robust supply room where If we get a cadet that's in a unit in Arizona, they may have never seen all of the 7-layer system. So we can provide that equipment for those individuals that don't actually own or have on their hand receipt some of that equipment. And for incoming students, I think a misnomer is how challenging the courses actually are, physically and mentally. When a lot of our graduating students will say this was more challenging than air assault. It's not a leadership school. There's a lot of schools in the military that are the way they are for a specific reason. Ranger school is exhausting. And these individuals need to be able to make difficult decisions, hungry, sleep deprived, physically exhausted. And that's a good model for the outcome of that school. Because we only have them for 2 weeks, we really expect our students to be critical thinkers, because an anchor is going to look different whether you're on a cliff band or in small shrubs. So we really want them to be able to identify a problem and then look at what they have on hand and then try to come up with a solution safely. So it's principles-based. The physical piece of it is a lot of folks will ruck march, but they're not ready for the hills. And I understand, we're the Green Mountains, so we don't have a lot of elevation, but we have a lot of hills. And our students tell us that we find every square inch of every hill on that post. So I would recommend going on YouTube. We do have some videos on how to tie the knots. Our program of instruction is designed to take someone that can only tie their boots, and we'll expand on that. And as long as they put the work in and the time and the practices, they should be successful. But the physical piece is what really challenges a lot of individuals. So put a rucksack on, get on a treadmill, and put it on the steepest incline and just walk for an hour at 3 miles an hour, and that will help them substantially to get prepared for our course.
When it comes to leading and mentoring, what qualities do you believe are essential for soldiers and leaders walking away from this school to have in order to take back and kind of trickle it down to their units?
This is where I'm very proud to be a part of the organization. I have all of our instructors have to be mentors to all of our students, and they also have to mentor their replacements as they're coming up through the ranks at the mountain school. Just core values as far as understanding if you're going to ask someone to do something, you need to be capable and you need to be able to do it first to standard. And what we want is our students to leave the school and understand that they worked with someone, their mentor, actually cared about their success. Because there's a vast difference between getting someone through 2 weeks of our course with dangerous training, and then what is the difference between that and then actually imparting in them how to be a critical thinker, and then also how to work with a small team. So I'm very proud of our staff because they do a great job of showing them what right looks like and showing them patience and showing servant leadership. Servant leadership is I'm a leader, so I get servants. So I think our staff does a fantastic job. And then also saying you've been here for 2 weeks. If you have any questions 2 months or you don't remember something correctly, please reach back to us. We get students that their units, they'll come back to their unit, and then their unit wants more training. They want a mobile training team. And if we weren't doing our job right, I don't think that would be happening as often as it is. We stay really busy working with former students and then units requesting more specific training.
Wow, I believe just being up there a few times myself and seeing how busy you guys are, followed you around, you can see quite how much work you guys are putting into all the things that you do up there. And speaking to that work, as far as your team, how important is it for you and your team and having that unit cohesion in the mountain warfare operations?
It's critical because not only are we training with each other in the process of educating our students, in between courses, these are individuals that go climbing together on their personal time. Our unit, the instructors, they play golf with the guys in the operations cell or the S4 cell. very, very close. Our S1 brings in breakfast sandwiches for Father's Day, and in return, the instructors got her a carrot cake for Mother's Day. So we are so blessed with having a very close-knit, and it happens almost naturally. If you think about high-risk training, when you're working with someone that is belaying you or setting up the anchor that you're rappelling on, like you're literally trusting these individuals with your life. So that very almost like unit cohesion in a combat zone.
Yeah.
You really get that. They're like your brothers and your sisters, just based on what you do day to day, and what a blessing it is. People get displaced due to floods or natural disasters, or they're moving into a new home, and there's just a line of pickup trucks with our staff. Just, hey, I'm here to help you. So we're very blessed with our unit cohesion, and again, we're greater than the sum of our parts.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that quite right, but we're blessed with really good people that care about each other, and that transcends down to their students as well.
So it sounds like you have a really a rewarding role being, having been an instructor. I know that firsthand. You were my instructor at Mountain School
right.
a long time ago. And just being as part of that team. And I'm curious, is there one positive memory that really sticks out for you during your time at the Mountain Warfare School?
Oh, my Lord. Hundreds of them. I feel like that parent that has the sticker on their car that says, my child is an honor student. One of them that really stands out to me is we had just graduated a course. It was a Friday. It was in February a few years ago. And I was having dinner with my family, and we got a call from the Joint Operations Center that two brothers from Connecticut had got kind of turned around at the Stowe ski resort. And they got turned around and they got lost. So they called 911, and the Vermont State Police tried to, through Stowe Technical Rescue and Colchester Rescue, to try to get volunteers to try to locate these individuals and get them safely back. And they didn't have the resources. So they reached out to the Joint Operations Center, and the Joint Operations Center reached out to us at the school. Friday night, they just put in 2 long weeks, and it was really cold. I think it was single digits. So these two brothers would not survive the night due to exposure. And one of our instructors put a team of 5 folks together, and they went up into Smuggler's Notch. They located the two brothers, and one of our instructors lead climbed, meaning that you're on the sharp end of the rope. You're climbing above your protection with a headlamp, made a kind of a hasty anchor in a field expedient harness, and rappelled, got them both out of that environment, and they didn't have to. They volunteered to do it, amazing. And just so proud that we had to turn people away that wanted to go support this, and very, very proud. And he was recognized with the Soldier's Medal, which is a very high honor. And they do things like this every day, but that one really stands out for me.
Yeah, I hear quite a few stories out of the Mountain Warfare School cadre and staff about the constant heroics, it seems like, that these guys pull off. And it's every day. It could be someone just driving to work and a house is on fire. This is a true story.
Yes.
And that sergeant got out of his vehicle to help and assist those people. Yep. And he was also awarded a medal for those actions. And so it's incredible what you and your staff do up there. What do you see in the future for the Army Mountain Warfare School, or is there anything in particular you and your cadre and staff are excited about moving forward?
We're really excited about the new building that we occupied in January of 2023. It's a beautiful facility. We had outgrown mainly bed space, because what we're anticipating in the future is more demand signal from the active duty component. The 10th Mountain had secured 630 of those Echo identifier slots within that division. So now those individuals need to get trained. So we're working to try to grow either the class of our sizes or in between courses. How are we going to train these folks? Because that's what we're passionate about, is just training people. And again, we don't, a Marine, a TAC-P or JTAC in the air. If these people need the training, we want to be able to provide it for them. And the new building affords us a lot more training opportunities with the indoor climbing wall. That way, if there's thunder and lightning, we don't have to change our training schedule, because we're very proud of our training schedule. It's very well thought out. And if we move those events due to weather, we're kind of interfering on when we want to introduce new concepts, the practice time, and then when we assess those concepts, so that the new building allows us to stick to our training schedule more regularly. And it's just a beautiful building. We've got a lot more bed space, so we have that room to grow. But I can see us in the coming years, the demand signal is always, we've never had a problem filling our courses. We usually have, 20 to 30 waits outside, folks that are trying to get into the course. We just don't have the room for them. So hopefully in the future we can expand on that and get the folks that need the training, get that accomplished for sure.
Wow, that's incredible. I remember the old building, and and I must say, it is much small. It was much smaller than what is currently now head operations for the Army Mountain Warfare School, and it is quite a unique and amazing facility. Really, just walking around in there and seeing everything. And speaking to that, do you ever? Because I know this is a question that pops up all the time. Do you ever allow civilians to go in and climb with you guys, or are there opportunities that are there for civilians to come see the school or anything like that? We
do. So again, we're proud of the school, but we also want to share it. So a lot of times other units, if they're hosting an event that is too large for the capacity of whatever building that they're in, as long as it doesn't interfere, we try to protect our building and our students when we're in a course. That climbing wall, we host local high schools to come up, and our staff and some of the staff from the 86 IBCT that are belay competent will, we like to work with MMU or the Boy Scouts. We work with, that we're going to have some Norwich kids coming up at the end of this month. So to protect ourselves, we, especially for minors, we ask them to sign a liability waiver. Not that what we're doing is not unsafe, but we do it right. We want to offer, we want to share the building. And civilians, I think we gave a couple, we call them nickel tours. If someone just shows up, a lot of time it's former alumni or former students that may find themselves in the local area and they want to see the new mountain school. And that again just closes the loop on that passion about who we are, what we do, and then the folks that we've influenced. And if they want to come back, we definitely want to show them where the mountain school is today and where we hope to see it in the future. It's an amazing culture, and I'm just very, very fortunate to be a part of it.
That's great. And it sounds like you have a lot of young minds coming through there as well. So some advice for aspiring soldiers as a first sergeant, I'd ask you, if you had to give advice to a new incoming soldier or someone even thinking about joining the Vermont National Guard, what kind of comes to mind for you?
To summarize, I think I would tell those individuals that they're capable more than what they think they are. I'm looking at a sign that says "Push beyond your limits," and that resonates with me. Sometimes we live in a world where we train to the minimum standard, but sometimes life will ask for a little bit more than that. And if you don't push yourself, you never really truly can identify your full capabilities. So that's what I would say to young men or women that are interested. You can do it, and allow yourself to be pushed harder than you've ever been pushed before, because I can guarantee on the other side of it, you'll be very proud of yourself. I mean, in the obvious, your capabilities will be expanded multiple times, but learning more about yourself, you can do this, and it's very rewarding.
First Sergeant, this has been an absolute pleasure. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience about the Army Mountain Warfare School or any of your experiences in your military career?
Oh, being a member of the Vermont National Guard and the Army Mountain Warfare School, I've had opportunities that I never would have dreamed of to get to work with other nations. And sometimes on these trips, I'm there to learn, and then multiple times I'm there to impart how the U.S. military actually conducts mountaineering operations. But the schoolhouse and the Vermont National Guard has made multiple opportunities for me that I never would have been able to experience. And I'm fortunate for my experiences so far, and thank you for the opportunity today for me to share our stories.
Absolutely. Absolutely. First Sergeant Max Rooney, thank you again for being with us. Truly appreciate your time. Thank you to everyone for joining us today on Beyond the Battlefield, Stories of Mountain and Air. I'm Sergeant Dennis Nunez. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Until then, keep ascending.